Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Winner Circle Sports Betting podcast for the Friday live show. It's the free for all. I got Matt Fargo, Marc Lawrence in the house on the Friday live. We'll be touching on probably some Final Four action. We have the Crown tournament going to, and Major League Baseball, and whatever else wants to come across our plate. Maybe we want to talk about how hot it is in your neighborhood. We're talking temperatures off air. We have 3 distinctly different temperatures for our areas. We're talking how I don't want to buy underwear. Hey, never know where the chat's going to go. Mark's ready to bail out. He's like, this guy's absolutely insane bringing up underwear on the air. That's how I am. Anyway, if you're still here after that first 30 seconds, hit the like button. That's the least you could do. There's probably a lot more you could do, but hitting like, subscribe, notification bell on, very important, so you know when we roll out the free pick videos. Now, college hoops are coming to an end, which means it'll be Major League Baseball, NBA with the playoffs coming. They're down to their final 5-6 games. Hockey. We'll brush on hockey a little bit. We'll probably Doug Upstone in the chat. I'm not a big hockey guy, but when he comes on, he's Mr. Hockey there. But our best bets, our top plays, all of our premium action at our sponsor, gamblersworld.net. You head on over there for the free plays. 730 packages guaranteed. We show you a profit all the time and we credit you back. Day passes, which are great when there's baseball, NBA playoffs, whatever else is going on. You buy a day pass for $69.99. It covers every single sport from your capper. You don't miss a single winner. Listen, the individual packages are great. That's fine. But sometimes then you miss out. Then you're like, what happened? You're going to go look at the leaderboard and be like, how this guy is this? I got the one game that lost. Buy the daily package. It's a lot better. It saves you money. In the long run, will make you money. That's how I do our things. Gamblersworld.net for premium action. Also, you can find articles there. Matt's bringing up a little golf action for you golf better. Throws a little article out for you. Doug has a little NBA shoot to rock. He'll have baseball little write-ups as well. So, again, Gamblersworld.net for the premium stuff. And back to the live chat. Marc Lawrence is in the house. How you doing, Marc? How's your week? What do you got going on here today?
My week's pretty nice right now. I'm looking forward to the big championship game on Monday, and that will then allow me an opportunity to dive headfirst into our college and pro football playbook, football preview guide magazine. I'll be in the dungeon every day for the next 3 months. So if you have to reach me, text me first, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can make an appearance out of the dungeon.
It's probably triple the work with college with the portal, getting your information and trying to stay on top. Before I get to Matt, you know what? Let me say hello, Matt. Then we're going to go back to that talk because that'd be a good little start here as if you got like a light schedule there. Matt Fargo, Blue Jays first place. He's happy as a clan. What do you say?
I am very happy. 5-2. This could be the first time we see first place all year, so I'm going to ride it as long as I can. 3-game set against the Mets coming up. This would be a good little test. If they're sweeping the Nationals, which really isn't saying too much, but hey, you know what? If this time last year we couldn't beat the Nationals, so I'll take it. I'm going to ride with it.
I think, and who knows here, you start hot. It can carry over a little bit, especially in April, the early months. But the Yanks got problems. Red Sox got a little pitching woes right now. Baltimore, I don't like their pitching staff at all. I got a little blurry vision. Let me pull out the little white paper there to try to fix it. Tampa Bay, you never know what you're getting out of them. So, Toronto could be, maybe it's let's see where we go, right? There's a lot of rating on the wall. Guys are leaving, that kind of stuff. Maybe they pull the old Cleveland Indians out of the Major League Baseball movie and go on a little run here and make it interesting.
Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah, I mean, the pitching's been great, so far. I mean, Scherzer, gone after one game, which is really no surprise. He was a wild card coming in. If he would stayed healthy the whole year, he would have been a great asset. But the chance of that happening obviously weren't very big. So, right, exactly. It was worth a shot. He could come back. It's a small ailment, so we'll see. But the offense has been great so far. If they can pick the bats up a little bit, I think they'll be fine, and they'll hang around for a while. And then it all depends on where they are and then whether they want to get rid of Vlad and Bichette or both. So we'll see.
Matt, let me ask you this. Who pitches more innings this year, Max Scherzer or Jacob deGrom?
I would have to guess deGrom. I think he's younger. I think he's more reliable at this point. I think he came into the season probably a little healthier. I just can't trust Scherzer. I think the better answer would be Scherzer or Verlander.
Yes.
When's Verlander going to get hurt? Not gonna. I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody here. I'm not here to say that. We're saying they're two very, very susceptible to injuries the last
a lot
few
of
years.
mileage on those arms. He goes today, Verlander. I kind of like Seattle there. I kind of lean Seattle.
Yep. I'm on Seattle as well.
Well, we're talking about 3 Hall of Fame pitchers who, if any one of those teams can get any mileage out of them, obviously it's going to be a big, big bonus for them. And obviously potential to be the aces of those staffs. So I think they're going to bring them along slowly and see exactly where they fit, if they do fit. And if any one of those 3 has a Cy Young caliber type season, we'll be talking about that baseball team in perhaps the World Series.
Yep, I agree. And the thing with Scherzer, that was Toronto's plan. Bring him along slow. Don't wear him out. Obviously, he's up there in age. But it was just like just a random. I think it was some thumb discomfort, thumb ligament. I don't know what exactly it was, but just a fluke thing. So hopefully he'll get healthy again, and regain some of the potential form that I think he still has.
Oh, now Scherzer and Verlander, Hall of Famers for sure. You're gonna put DeGrom in the Hall of Fame, Mark?
Well, I know he needs probably a little more duration. He's done some phenomenal things. You win Cy Youngs, multiple Cy Youngs, and his statistics are sort of quasi Sandy Koufax-like statistics. But he's still going to have to prove his worth, and that's going to mean generating a little more innings pitched and a little more duration. But he's for certain, I think for sure, potential and knocking on the door.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, he hasn't pitched more than 12 games in 6 years. Actually, he had 15 one year. 12, 15, 11, 6, 3.
Yeah, he's like a racehorse that can't find the finish line right now.
Listen, his early career, great. But the injury bug, he's 36. How many? He's not even going to get to 100. He won't have 100 wins.
Can you bring up how many wins he has right now, Sean?
He's 84 and 57.
Well, obviously he's going to need another 10 years. Otherwise, he's going to have 10 years.
We're
talking about 1 year, right?
Yeah. Listen, I think out of all of them is going to have a good year would be this guy because what do the Rangers have to lose here? Like they signed him. They won a World Series without him. He pitched 6 games. Last year he came back ineffective. He was coming back from injury. They weren't good, and that was just part of the problem. The whole pitching staff was hurt to start the year. They had 9 guys on the injured list. The bats are there. I like their bats this year. The staff is like every staff. Who has good pitching staffs? You get a couple guys. Some teams have a couple good guys, and then who knows what happens? Because you saw what happened with the Yankees. I thought that staff was the best one in the major. It made probably arguably Major League Baseball coming into the season, right up there. What happens? You lose 2 guys for the year. Goodbye. So I think if the Rangers, what do you owe this guy? This is year 3 of his contract. I'm throwing him to the wolves. Well, I'm going, listen, if you break down, I don't care. Well, let's throw him 5 innings for the first couple months of the year. I'm throwing him, I don't care. When September comes, if we're in a playoff hunt, you're going deep into games. And if you get hurt, who cares? You already got hurt. You've been hurt the first 2 years you've been here. Who cares? He can be the guy out of the 3 of them I think will be the best.
Yeah, he can also be the guy that wins a Cy Young this year too. You never know.
He could be.
Right.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, he still has it, no doubt about it.
And I hate injuries with guys. I don't care what sport it is. Like I'll crush the NBA, but somebody like Klay Thompson could have been awesome, right? Guy gets hurt. Any sport. We could go down. Here's DeGrom. Let's we could go back to Don Mattingly, Eric Davis, whoever. Years past, guys get hurt, and you're like, man, what ifs? The old what if kind of thing, Because this guy was on a career path, like you mentioned, his Koufax numbers, his early years were ridiculous. He was Maddox and Randy Johnson and Pedro-esque during the steroid era numbers. But
correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but I don't think Koufax had mind-blowing numbers early in his career. I think he kind of compacted it all into like a 6, 7, 8 year period, before his arm gave out on him. But I think he struggled a little early, and then he was untouchable. So that's how his career ended, I believe.
Could be. I don't know much about Koufax, to be honest with you.
Here we go. Early year, 12 starts here, 16 games, 10 starts. He had a 4 ERA, 34 games, 13-12. He only started at 13 games, I should say. 5-4 with a 3.48. 40 games, 26 starts, 7-5. 11-11. He had a 4.48 ERA. But like I said, the guy hit 26 years old. He came up at 19. Here comes the dominant years, 14-7, 254, 188, 174, 204, 173. I mean, ridiculous from 26 to 30.
Yes.
But those are so good they overlooked. Most guys have bad years at the end, where this guy was aces at the end. I mean, he retired as a Cy Young guy. He retired back-to-back Cy Young. He hung it up at 30.
That's incredible.
320 innings pitched, 300 strikeouts.
Yep.
I didn't know he gave it up that early. I had no idea.
30 years old.
Sort of Barry Sanders like in that sense, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
Right, and it goes to show you, like baseball back then, how many innings they threw, how many complete games they had. You don't find that. Like what are his in his peak years? What are his innings pitch numbers?
Those were his peak years. 311, 40 games, 40 starts. Then the next year he had 29 games because I guess he got hurt or whatever, 223 innings. 43 games, 41 starts, 335. In his last year, 41 starts, 27 complete games in back-to-back years, 323 innings.
How many no-hitters along the way, too?
It's crazy.
It's
insane.
Here's
the thing, though. The guy pitched 12 years, and he really had 5 good years. That's it.
You look at DeGrom's numbers, his 2 Cy Young years. He threw 204 innings, no complete games. The other one he threw 217 innings, had 1 complete game. It's a different era.
Yeah, it's the era that he pitches.
It's unreal.
Exactly.
Now his innings pitched again. I mean, he was striking out 260 guys, which is a lot for today's day and age. Yeah. I mean, even back then, if you're getting the 270s in early 90, 90, that's a big chunk, 270, because guys were throwing about 230, 240 innings back then. So it's still a good strikeout number.
Well, it's a little bit difficult for me to jump on these pitchers here today, as Matt mentions, because they don't pitch complete games anymore. What happened to Wilbur Wood, the guy that pitched started a doubleheader in back-to-back baseball games, and they baby these pitchers here today.
Yeah.
And, maybe it's because of the Scherzer and the DeGrom type injuries that they have, but let's bring back some starting pitchers that go complete games. I'd love to see that. That would, to me, that would validate a pitcher as being legitimate.
Right. I give Bruce Bochy credit the other day. Nathan Eovaldi threw a complete game shutout. And the fact he left him in the whole game, kudos to him for doing that.
Nice.
And Bochy said, he's an old school manager. He's like, let him go. Let him go. Yep. If he feels good, let him go.
Exactly.
And that's something you'd be like, you know what? Here's a guy who's kind of hurt. Let's pull him out. Because if something happens in the Padres, again, they're good squad, right? I mean, it'll be, well, if you even have him pitch that game in April, he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Come on, folks. Can we get more than 5 innings? But again, it's
if you had to cross the crosswalk at that certain intersection, you wouldn't have got hurt. I mean, come on,
You're paying these guys $35 million, and they're worried about guys getting hurt. That's crazy. Yep. Sandy Koufax, by the way, 0 Cy Young awards.
No, that's amazing. No, that's a stat I would not have. I would have lost that wager on.
Hold on a second. That can't be right.
I got to write that down. That's good trivia.
Oh, here it is. 3-time Cy Young Award winner.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes more sense.
Got 2 World Series MVPs? Is that what it says here? I don't know. Yeah, he was good anyway.
He was dominant.
All right.
Yes.
Enough Sandy Koufax and DeGrom talk here, Met fans, because you're going to lose today to Matt's Blue Jays. We have some college basketball on the horizon. We can come back to a little baseball today because I got some little player props I can give out. But let's talk some let's jump into the crown first. All right, we'll save the best for last. Although we probably should do the crown last because it's called the crown. You're topper. It's the best. You get a crown on your head. not a bad little tournament here in Vegas. A lot of points scored, a lot of fun, some craziness with rosters, though, that's for sure, with the portal nonsense. But Nebraska 2.5-point dog, 154 versus Boise. Central Florida +3, 156.5 versus Nova. I like Boise to win this thing from the start. I thought they were to be the most motivated and crowd-friendly and hype team in the tournament. People get there. So I think for me, it's going to be Boise still here, but I think Nova. I think Boise and Nova are going to be the championship battle. I'm going to take Boise either way. I got Boise here on Saturday. I'll probably take them when they play their championship game as well here against Nova. Obviously, I'm penciling in for it already, but give me Boise over Nova. That's my prediction. Boise to win it all. Marc Lawrence, anything? You've been betting a crown at all?
Well, it's sort of unique, the crown, in the sense that it's refreshing that these teams had so much time to get ready, prepare. Actually, a good week or 10 days of rest between these, their season-ending tournament and this tournament, and it's kind of nice and refreshing to see something like that. But, as you're coming down to the semifinals here, the thing that jumps out to me is, I'm a real technical kind of a handicapper. Everything I do is out of my database, and it's, put tape over the names of the teams and let's what these numbers churn out and see exactly what you've got. What you've got working in Villanova's favor here in this basketball game is just flat out plain simple. And if I didn't know anything about handicapping college basketball when it comes to be postseason tournament time, this is one thing that you want to take to the bank with you. And it works in Villanova's favor. And all it simply is you have a team that won their last game and did not beat the spread, and they're playing an opponent who won as an underdog. And you get the collision of those two together here. You get the better team who won and didn't cover, played maybe down to the level of opposition, perhaps really didn't meet expectations. And you have another team that's ecstatic because they pulled the rug out as an underdog here. That would favor Villanova in a matchup like this. So I can't argue with my well-oiled machine, so I would tell you Villanova would be my side.
There you go, a little Villanova action there from Marc Lawrence. Matt Fargo, what do you think about this tournament?
Yeah, Mark brought up a good point. We actually talked a little bit about this on Wednesday, that, these teams have had like 2 weeks to prepare. And some teams like Georgetown, to name one, they still had their full roster intact, going into the break time. But, the day before the tournament started, 4 guys were out, just declared out.
Yep.
So they really didn't have time to prepare. Whereas UCF, they have 8 players of their roster that has either transferred out or just weren't going to be playing. And they knew this from the start. And that is why they've kind of gelled together. They've had time to prepare. And, coming out that win over Cincinnati last night, I was on the Bearcats. I thought Cincinnati would just completely annihilate them based on experience, based on the rosters. But, UCF has something going good right now with a couple extra weeks to prepare with the new guys. I do like Villanova, though. I think they have the better athletes. They played the better schedule. And but I'm with you on Boise State. I think Boise State, like you said, Sean, they have something to prove. They got snubbed by the tournament committee as a 44 net ranked team. I think they should have gotten in, and they're just not to prove that they should have. And they're they blew away Colorado. They put away not Colorado. They blew away. They played first on George Washington by 30.
Yeah.
And then they won by 7 over Butler, which was a game. It really wasn't a game. They were basically in control the whole time. So, I'm with you as I see Nova and Boise going for the college basketball crown, and I see Boise taking it all.
I love it. College basketball crown. They're going for the crown. That's great. Hopefully the tournament, works out its kinks, but I think it's more of the NCAA got to do something with the portal kind of nonsense.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like with the football. I know these guys have to be out of school, like there's certain dates and start times with semesters beginning and that kind of crap. But this is like the red tape nonsense that just drives people crazy. Like, can we use where's the common sense of it? Where's the common sense of it that makes sense? It's not there. This is the rules. We can't switch them. Come on. It's terrible. It's going to hurt the product long term. Mark, go ahead. I didn't want to say so.
Yeah, I love the name, the crown. I think, for a startup tournament, it's kind of a neat name and easy to remember. And I think it'll move forward as long as this tournament is popular and successful. And who doesn't want to climb a ladder and say, hey, man, we won the crown? That's really neat.
Listen, NCAA championship's nice, right? You want to win the thing. Well, how about if they get some real backing and they give out some real money, and teams like, you know what, I'm going to go. Let's go to the Crown and try to win. If this goes from a $300,000 first prize to $500,000 or $1 million, then all of a sudden you might have some bigger schools saying, you know what, I'm not going to the NCAA. That's all right. I'm going to go to the Crown instead.
Yeah, I mean, some teams opted out of the NIT to go.
That went to the Crown instead, is what you're saying, Matt?
Instead of the NIT, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Am I saying like your Dukes and Michigans and these big power schools that have millions and millions of dollars are going to opt out of the NCAA tournament? Probably not. But if I'm a kind of a middle level school where I don't know if I'm going to win the NCAA tournament, well, why not? Be like, hold on a second, we can go get a $500,000 for just the basketball team. What do you guys want to do? You want to maybe run it, or do you want to go and try to win this thing where we could win it? Would make some money. I think it might expand. I think you're going to probably get some more teams interested if the money's there, because the sponsors pays for the rooms, all the travel, like right with the NIT and the CBI and the CIT and all these things back in the day. It's you got to pay to go, right? You got to pay for traveling. No one picks up those expenses. That's all on the school. Now you got a guy paying your room and board, and on top of that, giving you a prize if you get to the end.
Yeah, a lot of perks. Yes.
I like it. Now, guys who get paid in different ways for the last 40 years, nobody talks about them. They've been getting paid. Gator fans, Tiger fans, Duke fans, Cougar fans. We got Final Four action. Florida, all the 1 seeds. Here we go. But yet, the overall 1 seed and underdog Auburn Tigers here to Florida. It makes sense. You were a 11-point favorite over the Gators, and they beat you by 9 on your own home court. I'm not shocked here. Now, I don't know if you guys have premium action up on these games. If you do, you could just sidestep them and say, go buy my pick at GamblesRoad.net instead, and that's perfectly fine. But any thoughts on this one, Marc Lawrence, Gators and the Tigers? And from what I'm reading down here in San Antonio, the Auburn fans have taken over. It's all Auburn fans in town here right now. Nobody else, not even Houston Cougar fans.
Well, I've kind of been a little bit anti-Gators most of the second half of the basketball season here, and I'll probably remain that way in this game here as well. And if I'm Bruce Pearl, I don't have a problem at all getting my basketball team ready for this game before that we walk out onto the floor. You mentioned here the number 1 seed in the tournament, and all of a sudden they're the longest odds to win this tournament. It's like, what on God's green earth happened? What did we do wrong in a situation like this? They're going to play very spirited, I think Auburn will, in a basketball game like this. Florida, really good rebounding team. You got to give them that. Also, really great 3-point defensive field goal percentage from Florida. But Auburn's right there on the heels right next to that. So put a gun to my head. I'm going to play the dog here in Auburn in this basketball game. I think they're more incentivized in this underdog role than they would be as the favorite here. Give me the Auburn Tigers plus the points.
Auburn and the points. I mean, I'm going to talk you off in Auburn. I mean, the best team, motivated for sure. Revenge factor, they got everything going for me. Florida beat us this year. Let's get them. Duke beat us this year. Let's go get them. And we're counted out here. I totally get the rallying cry. Matt Fargo, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have anything official on this game. I think, it could be a toss-up game either way. But, gun to my head, definitely be on Auburn as the underdog. I have Auburn as a 1-point favorite. And, they are the number 1 overall seed. I think they will take that, with a chip on their shoulder. As Mark mentioned, they're right there. Florida gets all the acclaim for their, the strong defense, which no doubt it's great. But Auburn's right there as well. So the one intangible right now is how healthy is Broome for Auburn. He came back in that game against Michigan State on Sunday and hit a 3 right away. Looks great. But his big thing is he can score a ton, but they're most successful when he can hit the boards. They're 20-1 this season when he gets 10 or more rebounds. So getting him on the glass is important, especially against this Florida team. And I think the elbow would hurt more if it wasn't healthy in his ability to grab rebounds as opposed to just shooting the ball. Because I believe it's his left elbow. So a lot of it will come out of that. They're saying right now he's 100% healthy. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. And if it's an uncertainty in that regard, I don't want to touch it either way, just because you just don't know. An intangible with a superstar like that, it could go a long way in deciding the game. So I'll wait more until game time to see. what's going on there, and I could put a play in late if he's declared, 100% healthy, or if he's not, quite there yet. So that's a big determining factor for me. But right now, I do lean Auburn. They should be favored slightly in this game, and anything over 2, I would prefer. If you get 2.5, which is I think it's at right now in a lot of places. That's the number I would like.
I mean, the kid's 18-10 guy. It's a big miss. He's not playing. Could be a problem.
Oh, he'll play. Just how effective he's going to be.
Exactly. Coach Pro is on. He's all over the TV. We'll see what happens. He's not going. We'll see. He won't practice. How's the guy not playing in the Final Four? The guy's playing. 100% playing. How effective is he going to be is the question. Not bad is he on. You won't know until he plays. I mean, you're 20 years old. You're 20 years old. I was running through fences. I think, come on, get it. The kid's playing this game, 100%.
I mean, when he left the game against Michigan State, nobody thought he would come back. And what did he do? He went to the locker room, got taped up, and came right back because he wanted to play. So there's no doubt he'll be on the court this weekend.
He's playing.
No doubt. Yeah.
Houston and Duke. 5.5-point favorites, Duke. It's funny because it was 4.5 the other day, and there was a couple 5s out there. Now up to 5.5 with this one. I like Houston here. I think this game's either going to be Houston outright or Duke's going to win this one by 10 going away. But you're going to give me points with a Houston team. I'm taking them. This is out of the teams left here. I don't know if Houston's getting any of the love it should rightly deserves after a nice season. You're going to say it didn't beat the good teams. They lost to Auburn, or lost to Alabama, whatever. Okay, team's going to lose a game. It's not like they got blown out in those games. They were close games. They were neutral court games. They played this Duke team last year in whatever, the Elite Eight or whenever they played, and lost a close one. They couldn't hit a free throw. They couldn't hit a three-pointer. They couldn't hit anything. They couldn't hit on a cheerleader if they're next to them on the bench. I mean, they were just bad. I think and I said the other day, like, they've been there, done that kind of team, and Chip was like, they didn't done it. They didn't get done and lost. I'm like, but they're there. They've been in this situation before. Got a lot of upperclassmen. I like the coach. I think he's the best coach left in the tournament. I love the guy. I think he's really good. Does a great job in this program. I think this is it for them. I'm going Houston money line here, Mark.
Well, you bring out some really good points here in this game, Sean, and I'm with you. I like the Houston side as well because I love defense, and this is all about what this Houston team is. They have the best defensive player in the nation in Tugler, the forward. They start 2 juniors, a 5th-year senior, and a 6th-year senior. There's a lot of experience on this basketball team. They're on a roll, just like Duke is. Both teams are 31-1 their last 32 basketball games. But it's kind of neat here, this Final Four being what it is, and I wrote this up in my coffee club, and I said the last time that I've seen this many number ones that gathered together for one event was back when the Beatles had their debut album on the Dick Clark American Bandstand show, and 8 of those songs debuted in the top 10, and that's exactly what we've got working here. All number 1 seeds here. I don't think a person can go wrong siding with any team in this because any team that wins, nobody's going to be surprised. But I'm a big Houston Cougar fan. I love defense. I love Kelvin Sampson. I agree with you, Sean. I think he's the best coach in this tournament that's here right now at this particular point. And, I'll leave the listeners out there with this, that you can go back the last 3 years in this Houston Cougar basketball team and tell me how many times they've been an underdog. Once.
3? That's
Once.
One time?
And that was this year when they went to Kansas as a small road dog and won the whole game. So they're going to dress up in a role here that they're really kind of not accustomed to being in here. And if Bruce Pearl can get his basketball team pumped up due to the fact that they're the number 1 seed in the tournament and they're getting no respect, I think so too can Kelvin Sampson talk to his basketball team about the fact that, hey, we're an underdog for only the 2nd time in 3 years, guys. Let's show them that Vegas made a mistake in this basketball game. I like Houston to win this basketball game and make it to the championship game.
There we go. Nice. Matt Fargo, you going to make it a 3-pack here?
Absolutely. I think
right.
I think Houston is playing with another team that's playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're not getting the respect at all. Catching this many points. Part of the line is because it's Duke, right? Public money is going to come in all over Duke, as it always does, and the markets had to make a line to sort of equal out the action, so to speak. And for Houston, as Mark said, the defense, it comes out of the defense. Looking back to February 1st, which I think is a good parameter, when you're just starting your conference seasons and you have a few games on your belt, according to Bart Torvik, who's basically the equivalent of Ken Palm, Houston's number 3 in adjusted defense, whereas Duke, who is kind of known for their defense as well as their offense, they're number 23. So they don't match up quite as well in that regard. And, Houston's lost 4 games this year, all by 5 points or less. I think 3 of those were in overtime. At least 2 were in overtime. And I know for a fact they're 32-0 this year. We're holding teams to under 70 points. Now, Duke obviously has a great offense, but the way this team plays, if they can hold Duke anywhere between 65 and 70, they can definitely win this game outright, in my opinion. So 5.5, I think, is an overlay. And if anything, I think this should be a one possession line. And the fact we're getting almost 3, I think, is way too many points.
The other thing here, Matt, that I don't think people realize, we're talking about Houston and all this great defense that they have, which they do, but they're also the top team in this Final Four in offensive 3-point field goal percentage. Houston can kill you from beyond the arc here as well. So it's not just total defense for this Houston basketball team. They've got some 3-point capability here, which I think can, if they're trailing, get them back in the basketball game, or if they're leading, you can help them pull away.
Mm-hmm.
Houston Cougars. It's an official show pick. I gave this out yesterday with Chip and Doug too, as well. If you want to go back, watch that show. We talked about these games. You get those guys' thoughts on this. But there you go. A little free pick action there in this game. Again, Cougars, let's go. Ninja's in the house. He says Houston not winning. Duke and Florida championship. Follow the public money. They've been winning. Yeah. Here's the thing, though, Ninja. The public's going to win, sure. But I'm not going to do just because the public's doing it, right? It's just one game for me. It's one game to all of us. It's not, it's the Final Four. We got to triple our bets. And this last game of the year, we got to do – it's just a random game. This wager will be the same wager as a game in November for me or January or whenever. I'm not going all in because it's the Final Four. You got to go crazy. No, you don't. No, you don't. And as I lost my photo, what's going on with my camera? Am I blurry to you guys, or is it just me?
A little bit. Going back, the favorites have won 14 straight in the tournament outright. And they could easily win 17 straight when it's all said and done. But these final 3 games have nothing to do with the previous 14. There's nothing to do with that. Each game is separate. And public money, you can ride the public money. It's made you a lot of money this NCAA tournament. So if you want to keep riding it, go for it. But you can't base these future outcomes based on past history in these games that are completely separate of each other.
It's a great point, Matt, you bring out there that these games here had nothing to do with what's been played here prior to coming into this contest. And, you can say every game is like a snowflake. Every snowflake is different, man. I mean, you put it under a microscope and you look at the design and the makeup of the snowflake, nothing ever matches. And what counts here right now is what's in front of them here right now. And it's these 4 best teams in the country going toe-to-toe. They don't care about their offensive and defensive field goal percentages. And so that's what they do. It's just a byproduct of what it is they do. And I agree with you. I think whatever happened in this tournament or what has happened in this tournament, you can keep that in the rearview mirror and just focus in on what these teams are capable of doing this weekend.
Right. And what you said before, nobody be surprised if any one of these teams wins because they're all that equal to each other. Whereas if you saw like NC State when they went to the Final Four, if they won it, that'd be a surprise. If Miami did it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where it was, that would be a surprise. This year, they're all so good, so competitive, so dominant that if any one team wins, it would not be a shocker at all.
I think these 4 teams have been the best team in basketball basically since like December came around, right? It was kind of like you had talk of Alabama. We worried about their defense, and it was like, well, can Arizona or Kansas get right? And is Michigan or Michigan State that good? There was never a doubt about these, especially maybe you could throw Florida as a mix as like the late new.
You can say they crashed the party. Right.
They're the crash the party kind of group, but even then, people were still talking about like, wow, these guys are good. How good are they? And I guess they're that good.
Yeah, I think they opened 35-1, 40-1 to win it. So yeah, they definitely climbed up. But from, like you said, from like December, January on, they've been one of the top 5 teams in the country. Right. No doubt about
it. Ninja likes the under in the Houston team total, under 66.5. He thinks Duke's gonna hold them in check. I don't know about that. And I'll tell you what, if Houston's getting 66 and under 66.5, I don't think Duke's scoring a lot here. I still think I got a shot to cover in this game. If this is the tempo game we're playing, Houston's going to be alive in this game. No?
That's a great point you bring out, Sean, here, because in the Duke and Houston game, you're pairing 2 premier defensive basketball teams. And you get into this stage of the tournaments here, it's always the defense that helps teams climb the ladder. Now you're pairing 2 of them together in Houston and Duke, and that makes a nice little recipe, if you will, for this game to go under the total. I know it's not a big total, it's not a big number, but it's there for a reason, and I'd be surprised if this game gets over the total.
It's come down a little bit too as well.
Yep.
Both games under first half I can agree with as well. I love this one here from our guy Ninja Mark. Coffee Club, is that like a meet up at Starbucks and sit there and have an AA meeting? It's like a GA meeting. Come in and talk. We're talking college football in April. Mar wants to know Verlander throwing today. We talked about this little Verlander guy. I'm not looking to back Verlander as a favorite. The Giants are a team that's always like around 500, right? They win games. I can't back Verlander. I'm an anti-Verlander. Him, Scherzer, DeGrom, I want season-long unders on everything of theirs. I don't think they're going to last. And again, like Matt said earlier in the show, Mar, we don't cheer for guys that get hurt, but the track record of these 40-year-old pitchers is not pictures of health. It's guys getting strains and stuff like that, I mean, if you're over 45 yourself, you're getting a strain just from getting out of bed, some normal people. So, I mean, these guys are going to be in the same kind of boat. No? Any guys like the Giants as favorites tonight? Marc Lawrence, what do you think? No?
I'm really, truthfully, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really deeply into baseball here right now at this point. I generally hop into the fray right around the 1st of May. And I do that largely because I let these teams get to know one another. I like to know a little bit more about the pitching and what they really truly have with the pitching. And I'm a real heavy strike to walkout ratio kind of a guy. So, I want to see whether or not we talked earlier about Verlander. We talked about DeGrom, Scherzer, whether or not these guys are going to be there even in May to have the numbers to even talk about. So I'm on the sidelines looking in right now for Major League Baseball until May gets here.
Matt Fargo, I know we kind of touched on this a second earlier, but any other things to add to the Verlander?
Yeah, I mean, so Seattle's going with Luis Castillo tonight on the hill, but it's a different one that you're accustomed to. He's making his first Major League start, so that's the one concern for the Mariners. But he's coming over from Japan. He had 3 really good years over there. He was not, one of the big guys that went to the Dodgers or the Cubs, so nobody really knows about him. Very effective, very not a big strikeout guy, but great control, great poise. And I think he had like a 5% walk rate when he was over there. Granted, Japan is different. I understand that. But if the Mariners can get their bats going, that's been their problem so far this year. Their offense has been stagnant. And they have a lot. It's funny. This happened with them last year, too. They have a lineup that has all these supposed superstars in it and these big bats that they brought up. What's his name? Rosarena from Tampa Bay, and obviously they're J-Rod and whatnot. But they just can't get it together for some reason. And that's going to be a big thing for them going forward, I think, throughout the whole year is their offense. Because I think their top 3 starters are pretty darn good. So they get the offense going. Yeah, if they get the offense going, they'll be just fine. But that's kind of a wait-and-see type thing.
Yeah, Mariners can't hit. I mean, minor leagues, I can't believe they traded Kelenic, because Kelenic is like 23, was a top prospect for them. They traded him after like 2. I mean, these guys are still young. I hate that they give up on cats at 23 years old.
They gave up on him quick.
He was just coming into the league. He doesn't have 2 or 3 years. They bring these guys up at 18, 19 now. You're ruining players. I think you're ruining guys.
Hey, let me ask you guys this question here. Every year in baseball, it seems like there's a team that makes the playoffs that really wasn't supposed to or came out of nowhere. The Cleveland Guardians have kind of snuck into the playoffs a lot here of late. San Francisco Giants had that propensity to be a best baseball team that would make the playoffs, not only make the playoffs, but win the World Series. what teams do you guys see? Do you look at and see, hey, this team is not a lot as expected from, but don't be surprised if they do make the postseason?
Well, one for me is we talked about this in our NL Central preview, the Cincinnati Reds. But they're they're off to a 2-5 start. They've lost 3 games in a row, 1-0.
1-0.
So I'm taking that back a little bit. It's early still. I still like that team. I think they're young. I think the offense will come around, as I think they have good young pitching. And I think in that division, as we talked about, Sean, it's kind of wide open. And the Cardinals are off to a good start. The Cubs are the favorites, obviously. They're playing all right, I guess. But I think it's still wide open. So I do like Cincinnati as kind of a sleeper team in the National League.
When it comes to that, Mark, it's like who's even the Reds. Reds are like a kind of a trendy pick, right? Everybody's like, "Ooh, take the Reds." A bunch of second-year rookies and guys, sophomore slumps they had. Can they not second year, but maybe third year, and kind of take that step forward kind of team? Like, where else are you looking at that? Like, again, the Red Sox were kind of like that trendy kind of thing. For to me to say Kansas City to come back out of the Central again, or Detroit, it's not really a upset kind of a pick, right?
No,
I mean, because
it's not an eye opener. No.
If I would say the Texas Rangers, would that be a shocker to somebody? I mean, they won the World Series 2 years ago, but they're looked at as it's Houston. I want to say Arizona because you have the Dodgers and Padres ahead of them. And if we're looking even at playoffs, if you think the Phillies get in, or if the Braves or Mets are, second team out of the East or whatever, it'll be tough for them to make the playoffs. I'm high on them. I think they could. I think they can win the West. I mean, I think they can win the NL. I think we saw them get a little beat up in New York. Merrill Kelly didn't have a good outing yesterday, but him, Gallen, and Burns. I mean, that's a solid 3-man right there, and that's what you need. And if somebody gets hot like the B Fatty did last year, he goes today. If someone catches fire for them, is that is it an upset pick when you can spend $100 million on a pitcher? I don't know. I can't come in here and say, well, we're going to take the Marlins and make the playoffs. No, I like the Marlins over win total. I got over 70 and a half there. Do I think they make the playoffs? No, but I think you look at teams now after a week and say, all right, are you worried about a team? I think the team you're worried about are the Braves, because I thought they had some pitching problems anyway. But the fact that they're still not hitting now into their second year, like last year, the hitting collapsed. Now, again, nothing early. I'd be like, what is happening here? Do you just change the hitting coach? I don't know. That's the concern team for me, because everything else is Astros. You knew they were going to have weak hitting. The Yanks offense, forget about the torpedo bats. You knew it was Judge, and can somebody get hot behind them? We knew about other teams' problems. But the Brave team, you thought, okay, they can't be as bad as what they were last year offensively, where the entire lineup took a step back. And they're back, and they're still in the mud right now. I mean, that's the team, Mark. I think that's the one you worry about.
And how about these baseball bats, guys? I know it's a hot subject here right now. Don't they look illegal as hell? These bowling pin bats, if you will, these torpedo bats. Do you think it's going to affect what's going to happen in baseball this year? Are more people going to start using it, or is it a fad that's going to die out?
There's a dozen guys using them. Half of them are in the Yanks, I think. Matt, what do you think about the torpedo bats?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really paid too much attention to it. I could honestly care less. But if it's within the regulation, then I guess it's fine, right? I mean, what can you do? I mean, is it really going to help that much? It's people are making us think about it because the Yankees hit 9 home runs in one game. That's the only reason why. It's because Nelson Cortez sucked that day. That's exactly why it happened. It's not because of the bat. I don't think it's because of the bat at all. I really don't.
I mean, Aaron Judge hit 50 home runs twice, and he has a 3 home run game. It's shocking.
But he's using the same bat. He's not using the new bat.
Yes, but I'm just saying they're talking about it's a 9 home run game, and he's a guy who hits 50 home runs anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a bunch of Yankees: Volpe, Wells, Bellinger, Jazz, and Goldie. I mean, the Blue Jays, Dave Schneider and Ernie Clement. I mean, how are they doing? I mean, folks, you got guys. Ryan Jeffers, I don't think has a hit on the year for the Twins, and he's a home run guy beforehand. Like Lindor's got one. How's he doing? Is he crushing it? Jose Trevino, ex-Yankee. How's he doing this year? There's not a lot of guys using the bats.
I had read somewhere where somebody had reported that in this early start of the season here that the Yankees had like 9 home runs and the New York Mets had a total of 6 singles so far this year. A little bit of a disparity? I don't know.
Well, I mean, the Mets team, I like them to go under their win total anyway because I thought the pitching staff was a disaster. I mean, I know a lot of teams are 5-inning pitchers. This Mets staff is not good. You got Soto, you got Alonso, you got Lindor, nice big-time names, but you need some. You got to have a pitcher on the other side of things here. Ninja says, the Cubby are heavy favorite to a 7-0 Padre team. Well, it's because you got a better – Amanga is a really good pitcher, Ninja. He's fabulous. Winds are blowing in. Randy, who's pitcher? Randy Velasquez for San Diego. I mean, I took the Padres today based on I'm 7-0 and you're going to give me $1.40. I'll take it. I'm not getting in the way of an undefeated team when you're giving me a $1.40. I'll gladly take the dog in that one. But Amanga is a good pitcher, number one.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'm gonna pop up. I put them in the chat earlier, folks. Some Ribby props. I'll re-add them to it. These aren't even Ribby props, I should say, because I do a lot of Ribby props, Mark. But I jumped. I'm 23 and 27 with my Ribby props this year, plus 1465. I try to find like one team and go like 4 or 5 guys on that middle of the lineup, bottom of the lineup. I went a little different though today. I couldn't find one team I thought was going to really pummel a pitcher. But hit and run Ribby props here for the O's against Lugo. I don't think Lugo is going to be unhittable like he was to start last year. So this Mullins and Kierstad. Kierstad's a nice young rookie for these guys, and Mullins he's solid. So a hit and run Ribby for both these guys are plus 120 and plus 135, which when I could get it on one swing with either of these guys, I had a Mullins Ribby prop yesterday. Easy winner there. He hit a home run. Plus 175, plus 170 from the score runs. Again, I think one of these guys is going to hit a home run today, and I'm going to cash 3 out of these 4 right out of the gate, probably by the 4th inning. So I try to find not to sweep the board in my props because they're usually big plus monies. But if I'm breaking even or even going like 1 and 2, 1 and 3, I'm not going to get hurt. And so far, so good. I'm going with these 2 cats here on the Orioles to get me money. A's, I got a Rooker over home run prop for the year, 31, right? 31 and a half total home runs. So he's got one the other day, but you're playing in Colorado. I'm going to play this the entire series. If I'm going to get 4-1, if he doesn't hit one today, it'll probably be the same kind of odds for the rest of the series. I get one tonight. There you go. I'm off of it. I got $450 in my pocket. I'll move on, look for something different. But plus $450 for a guy who's got pretty tight, good power. I'm going to take that. And I sped over Max Meyer strikeouts against the Braves here for the Marlins. One, I like this kid. I took a Cy Young on this guy like 2 years ago. He comes in, has 2 starts, blows his arm out, and it's Tommy John surgery at 21 years old. So I'm high on this guy. 4.5 Ks. The Braves, again, having problems hitting the ball. I'm going to go this kid over 4.5 Ks. Those are my props. They are in the chat as well for those interested in that. I'll re-add them again. But
a lot of dogs in those props there. A lot of plus prices.
Yeah, always plus prices. If I'm going to do them, because listen, baseball, I'm 17 and 21 to start. Not great start. I was 0-7. I had the Cubbies both times in Japan. I started out like a 1-5 on opening day. I started out bad, but I redeemed myself down the road here the last few days. But I'm more of a plus kind of guy. I'm going to take dogs. I'll do maybe a run line here and there. Plus money. I'm not going to lay money. Same with the props, Mark. If I'm going to do props, it's got to be some kind of payday on the return. Like, why am I taking Judge minus 105 for a Ribby minus 110? What? No, thank you. That's not, to me, that's the public. I'm not doing that. You don't turn into this show to listen to us talk to tell you to take a Aaron Judge probably hit a home run today for plus 150. You could do that on your own. I'm going to try to find something else where you're not going to look because you're looking at Aaron Judge and Ohtani and the everybody else's favorite guy to do something today at even money. That's no thank you.
I haven't looked at any props yet, but one game I am going to look at is that I was going to say Oakland, the Athletics Rockies game. The Athletics gave up 35 runs in 3 games against the Cubs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be looking at some.
You can pause after that, Mark. Now you can pause 35 runs to the Cubbies offense.
Oh my. I'm going to be looking at some Colorado props because I think we'll get some good value. Because can you name 4 players on this in their starting lineup?
Ellis Burks,
I can't.
Dante
Larry Walker. But
I know they got that kid Tolver. I think Tolver is the young shortstop. That's all I know because he's a young kid.
Their total is 9. Have you ever seen a 9 at Coors Field? Why is it so low? Is it like really cold there today or something? I'm not a big
offense is terrible.
I know, but they're back home. They've been on the road for 7 games, and they played against the Phillies for the last 4.
Mark, you know anybody on the Rockies?
Zero.
I look at them. I'm like, who are these? I know the kid Tolver just because he's a top prospect that's supposed to be good. That's it. I think they got is Chris Bryant healthy? Is he still playing for them? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you use a torpedo bat in Colorado?
Yeah, why not, right?
Yep.
I mean, again, though, with the bats, they could say what you want about the bats. Oh, they're illegal, this and that. Are all these guys ripping the ball? How are Yandy Diaz and Junior Camarino ripping it for Tampa Bay right now? Seattle can't hit anything. If they had the giant red wiffle ball bat they couldn't hit, nobody on their team using it. Think about it. So you still got to put the bat on the ball. It's like steroids. Oh, they got to use steroids. Well, you saw who was really good when he used steroids because they became incredible. How many guys used it and were just average at best?
Right.
You still got to make contact.
Right, like you said, you have to put the bat on the ball, but more importantly, with this new torpedo bat, you have to put the barrel of the bat on the ball, and that doesn't happen every time. So if you hit the sweet spot, yeah, it will make a big difference. But to do that every bat, it doesn't happen.
I like Jazz. I think it's going to help him. I liked him coming up with the Miami. I thought he's had a lot of pop and just the way he swings. Probably Ely De La Cruz uses it well. It might help him, but he's still kind of raw. But some of these other guys, I mean, Manny Machado, why is Manny using this bat? You're 35, man. You've been an all-star and a Hall of Fame trajectory with a regular bat. This is maybe the second half of your career. It's going to light you up and keep you going for another 8 years. But I mean, I'd be scared with that guy hitting with a bat because he was good beforehand. So is he going to elevate? I don't know his stats off the bat, but if go ahead, Mark.
I say, if I can, guys, before we get out of here, I'd like to ask you guys an NBA basketball question, if I can run it by you.
Oh, sure.
Okay. All this crap going on with Ja Morant and the Grizzlies here right now, firing the coach, Ja Morant, getting fined again, the ugliness all about what's that Memphis basketball team is. And they were locked into a real heated battle. I think at one point, only 3 games separated the number 3 through 8 seeds, and the Grizzlies were right in the middle of that. Can you see the Grizzlies playing themselves down to possibly a number 10 play-in seed type situation here? Is there a hole in the dike that needs to be filled for the Memphis Grizzlies right now?
Well, they got a game again at Detroit. It's not going to be easy. Detroit's tough. Charlotte should be a win. At Minnesota is not going to be easy. At Denver, even though it's the second last game of the year, Denver might be playing for some kind of positioning. And wrap up versus Dallas. So I see 2 wins on there right now. Again, you're playing Minnesota, who you're tied with right now. So that's not an easy one. You got Denver, who's fighting with the Lakers behind them for the 4th spot. I mean, if I'm Denver, do I want to play Golden State in the 4-5 game?
No.
Yeah. Memphis is, I don't know. They're a mess. They're a talented squad for sure, but I don't think they're going anywhere. Can they lose out? It's possible they could fall down because the teams that they got to play might be playing for a little better positioning themselves.
So what was the reason, Matt, that they fired this head coach? I mean, my goodness, they had him in a great position to do all this. Obviously, there was some friction between the management and him. I'm sorry?
Yeah.
It was him and Morant.
Yeah. It was locker room stuff. And unfortunately, these days in the NBA, the tie goes to the player, so to speak. Where if there's a problem, if there's a riff, they'll always back the superstar. And it's been happening the last few years for these NBA coaches. They've been getting fired like crazy. Like who's the coach from Milwaukee? After he won a championship, he got fired. What's his name?
They brought in Doc Rivers over there for the job.
Here's with the B. I forget his name. I can't even say it. Biosenhole or something like that.
Bernie Bickerstaff?
No, not him. But this has been happening like the last 2 or 3 years, where these coaches, they're playing well, the teams are doing well, and they just get let go.
Mike Brown just got
Mike Brown, and that was the biggest surprise for sure. Like there were so many other coaches, so many other players, like they just couldn't believe this guy got canned. And the same way with Jenkins. I mean, they were number 3 or number 4 at the time, rolled along pretty good, and I think they're winless since the interim's been playing or been coaching, and they're going nowhere right now. And as Mark said, they're 2 games out of game and a half or 1.5 game out of the number 8 spot. They can still move up, but they're not playing well right now, and I just see them going nowhere but down. And this whole John Morant thing just happened 2 nights ago against Boston. It's like, come on, like what are you doing? Or against Golden State, like. He's been suspended for stuff like this with all the gun stuff, and just never learn.
Nope.
How about, here we go. I'm not a huge NBA guy. Very limited in my NBA compared to college basketball and even baseball and any sport because of nonsense of guys sitting out. Oklahoma City's, they're like 6-point faves tonight over Houston. Houston's the 2 seed. They're the 2 seed, and they're 14.5 back. But if OKC wins out, they got Houston, they got 2 against the Lakers, then they're at Phoenix and a couple other teams. They could get 70 wins this year. Do you think they're going to play for 70 wins? Is that motivation to go out and keep covering and crushing teams and get 70 wins, Mark? 70 wins.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think 70 wins is a motivation. You're talking about NBA basketball players here. All they care about is whether that check is going to clear when it's deposited.
But they're 51-21 ATS.
Yeah, that's the impressive stat. That's the impressive stat.
Look at minus 13 cover, 15 cover, 20.5 cover. You're covering crazy numbers. 13 on the road cover. All right, you didn't cover 14. 17.5 cover, 15.5 cover. 18.5, you win by 13. 17.5 cover. These numbers are monstrous. It's not like you're covering threes. These guys are covering 17.5 at home.
So when the playoffs, the finals come, and it's Oklahoma City and Boston, probably Boston ahead of Cleveland just for experience. What kind of a favorite are you making Oklahoma City over Boston?
They're going to be a dog.
Yeah,
Oak City will be the dog.
I think so.
It'll
be tight. I don't know what the odds are right now, but I think it's pretty tight.
You think so?
Yeah. And going back to what we were talking about OKC, like I think they are going for 70. I really do, because at this point they clinched the number 1 overall seed in the West a long time ago, and they're still rolling these guys out every night, and they're still winning big every night. They're motivated for that. They'll be the 3rd team only to do it, and I think that for these young kids.
That's a good
point. I think it's something big for them. If you're looking at somebody like the Lakers with LeBron, he could care less, I assume, But a young team like this, I think it'd be a pretty big milestone for them. So I think they're writing these guys out for a reason. Because I think at this point you would think that, they would, rest guys every other game going into the postseason just to be fresh, going into the playoffs. But they're not doing that. They're writing these guys every night.
I want to see what the line against the Lakers are going to be. They got Lakers back-to-back at home on Sunday, and then again, I think on Tuesday or something. They play, they play these 2 teams, same team twice in a row sometimes.
Right.
Let's be honest, if LeBron or Luka takes a day off one of those, they're going to be 17-point favorites over the Lakers.
Well, yeah, if LeBron's not in the lineup, for sure,
but that's crazy. This is still, one guy's worth, if he's playing, what are they favored by? They'll so far be favored by like 8 points.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And like you say, Matt says they're playing for something. A lot of incentive here for this basketball team. The question is, do you want to step in front of them right now? For the way that the way they're playing. My goodness, they just keep getting better every game.
I think this is the year they take a step forward. I mean, last year they lost to Luka and Kyrie in the finals there, which was, again, Luka's veteran, Kyrie's a veteran guy. I'm not blaming them. Should they probably have won? Maybe, but you got two Hall of Famers you went against, and you're young. I think that's a learning experience. I think this is where you take a step forward and be like, you know what, we're just on a mission this year. I think that's why they're going to get to 70. I think they'll beat up whoever the heck they play in the first two rounds, and then finals, conference championship comes. Who knows who they're playing? I don't know. I know there's a lot of Warrior and Laker talk. I don't think so. I mean, how do people not talk about Denver? I mean, that dude's ridiculous.
I think it has to be Denver. Should be the talk.
I mean, Joker's just.
Yeah, they're the most complete opponent that they have competition-wise.
Yeah, so right now OKC's plus 170 to win, and Boston's plus 185. So it's pretty much neck and neck.
Right now, yeah. Okay.
All right, we're going to roll on out of here. Listen, before we head out, hit the like button. Let us know you were here. Leave a comment. We pretty much hit the comments. Not a lot of comments today. That's all right. We gave out all our games here. We gave out the Houston Cougars here over Duke. We like Houston with the points. Florida was kind of like a little toss-up action there. Go where you feel. You could also go to gamblersworld.net to get everybody's best bet in the Florida and Auburn game. That's probably the smart thing to do. Use the smart money move. Head over there for the Gators and Tiger matchup. We kind of like all three of us really enjoyed Boise, at least me. I'm high on Boise and Nova there for Matt. So Boise and Nova we think is going to be your crown finale. And baseball props are in the chat. So for Mark, Matt, and myself, Gamblers World, Winner Circle, hit the likes. We'll see you Monday back with Chip Schrimmis and Doug Upstone, probably an MLB Monday. I mean, we'll talk. Actually, it's championship day, right? So we got both. Apparently, there'll be a basketball Monday night to talk about as well. So be sure to tune in. And then that's that. Have a great weekend, everybody. Matt, Mark, thanks for popping in. As always,
enjoyed it, Sean. Thanks, guys. Best of luck to you guys this weekend.